Bonjour. Oh, no. Hello. I was going to say, that didn't sound
Hola.
the same, did it? That didn't sound the same, did it? Bonjour.
Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back, everybody.
And,
Hope you're having a great weekend.
and I'm going to start introducing us because I know there's a lot of new people that come on. So I know all of our people already know who we are, but I'm Dan. I'm the author of BibleProphecyandTruth.com. This is my wife, Kelleen. She is my co-host along with her sister,
The moderator
Diane.
in chat.
And she's the moderator, and Diane co-hosts with us as well. She's Kelleen's blood sister and our sister in Christ. So
That would make her your sister-in-law.
Yes,
Very
it would.
good.
Wow, thank you for that.
Somebody said something about your brother-in-law. Who said something about your brother-in-law?
Dean.
Oh, your landlord.
The only takeaway he got from the videos I showed him was he was watching a game show and he goes, "This guy looks just like your brother-in-law." I looked at him and the guy had a white beard and I'm like, he doesn't look anything like my brother.
He just had a beard.
He does.
Well, then that must mean that he was watching the videos.
Yeah, so that was the only
she
takeaway.
watched them with him.
Yeah.
Remember they sat on the couch or something. Yeah.
They sat on the couch.
Watched them together. Anyway, welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about news and how it relates to biblical prophecy. And basically I go for I talk about the news that's happened since the last live. So it always is a little bit different, but sometimes it seems like it's all the same thing because same stuff keeps happening. But then I do want to tell everyone I've got a special couple of articles we're going to look at the end of the show because we're going to drop YouTube before we do that because I don't want to push the envelope too hard, and I know they will hate what I'm going to tell you at the end of the show. So we're going to drop YouTube at the end, and we'll stay on Rumble and on videos.prophecyandtruth.com and Facebook and everything else. Just YouTube will be dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to talk about chapter 18 from my book/website. So welcome.
So would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with your friends, and go over to Rumble and start that account right now if you have not done so already, because when we do drop off, sometimes we do drop off, you'll be able to watch it from over there. Sissy.
When YouTube bans us. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the card.
Hello, Cardi. How are you today? Oh, you got some important information? Let me see. We'll share it with everyone. Oh, if you are looking for the truth and nothing but the truth, and you've been all over the internet looking for the truth and can't find it, well, here's where to go. Dan has compiled a bunch of his notes, and he has his own website called BibleProphecyandTruth.com. There you'll find all sorts of interesting things. And better yet, it's the truth. You can also join us on youtube.com/prophecyandtruth, and you can see our live streams. You can also see our live streams on rumble.com/BibleProphecy. If you want to see some really great videos, you can go on there or Rumble. You can also go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com. If you have any questions or any comments, get in touch with Dan. You can email him at prophecyandtruth@gmail.com. You're so full of information, Cardi.
Thank you, Diane.
That was so grand.
That is.
How we miss that from week to week. Jay said hola.
Hola.
Bonjour. Okay.
Hello from Deutschland.
Me and Annie are French, so bonjour. We will say that, but he can say hola. What?
What?
What? Not that kind of
Guten
French.
Tag.
Guten Tag. Tschüssi.
Wie heißt du?
So for all the new people that may be joining us today, the goal of this
French
ministry
noise. Yeah.
goal of this ministry is to dispel the lies of Satan. That is our number one goal, and to promote the truth of God.
Mm.
So that's what we strive to do here. That's why I created my websites, wrote my book, do all the videos, do these lives, do everything. It's all for the glory of God, and to dispel the lies of Satan that are so pervasive in this world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Jay, welcome, brother.
Lonely Jay in the chat. I'm so sorry.
Good
That's
to
He
hear
needs
that.
neighbors.
Yeah. So we will get started.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get my mouse to cooperate with me. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Thank you very much. All right. So starting with the news today.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're going to drop YouTube at the end of the show and show you some additional news. But this is the stuff that YouTube won't ban me for. So starting off with, when is the end of the world? This is becoming a twice weekly thing, because we always have something new to talk about. When we talk about the signs that Jesus gave that would herald his coming, we're seeing them constantly now. And then, and this is one that I had to put up here, because this was a new article that's, a potentially historic heat wave building across the U.S. West Coast,
I know.
and looks like you're talking about East as well. But I wanted to remind everyone that we've seen multiple videos, multiple articles, thousands of scientists debunking this idea of global warming. That it is a big lie. They're actually fabricating data. They're making stuff up. They're lying about it. It's just a big political agenda is all it is. This would not be the first time we've had a heat wave, but it looks like this may be, a record-breaking one. But I also want to remind everyone that this is part of the signs that Jesus said would herald his coming.
Yeah.
And that men's hearts would be failing them for fear because of the things that are happening in the heavens, in the atmosphere, and the sea and the waves roaring, and the storms, and then all the things going on are going to be very fearful for men.
Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jody, welcome. Good to see you.
Hey, Jody.
I just want to remind everyone of that. We've talked a lot about it in the last few months. And so I want to show you this in Luke 21, where God said that. 25. Yeah. So there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. This is part of the signs that Jesus gave that would herald his coming. And we're seeing them build up. Most people know about Hurricane Beryl. We talked about that on Wednesday. It is one of, it's not necessarily a record-breaking first time ever, but it's like a very rare occurrence of such a strong hurricane coming so early in the season. They're predicting a very active hurricane season in the Atlantic this year, so we shall see. Right now, Hurricane Beryl is hitting Texas.
Yeah.
The East Coast, the southern,
but it's not even supposed to be
southeast Texas.
That intense right now. I think it's more thunderstorm or a very low cat.
Let's just take a look and see what it's.
They started talking about that like a week ago.
I know it's been, but it was really
Wednesday we talked about it. Yeah, here it is right here.
Is it a cat?
Tracker. Yeah, this is a cat.
Oops. 1 or 2.
Hurricane tracker. It had it on there. So it's a 1 right now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Low grade.
they predicted that it might increase up to a 3 again, but it looks like it's down to a 1 now. So
Yeah, and as soon as it hits land, then
it'll slow down.
Yeah.
So thank God for that.
yes.
Glad to see that it's not hitting Texas too hard.
Yeah, me too.
So, but these are things we can expect to see more weather. We can expect to see more earthquakes, tsunamis because of
Yes.
earthquakes in the oceans. And we can expect to see all of these things because this is what Jesus said would happen. And we're seeing it spiking over the last few decades. So
I have a question. When people are going to say that they want peace and safety and the Antichrist takes over, are there still going to be weather problems, or is that stuff going to like stop after a while?
Oh no, it's going to increase. There, and even remember during the wrath of God at the very end, when God pours out his wrath, remember the sun, men will be scorched by the sun.
Ooh.
And things like that. All the water will turn to blood. There's going to be some really horrific things that happen during the wrath of God at the very end that'll go way beyond what's happening now. This is definitely not going to stop. It's just going to keep going until Christ comes and takes over the world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Antichrist is not going to be able to do anything about this.
No.
There's nothing you can do.
No.
And I had a little screenshot of that. Another thing, the climate communicators. I wanted to bring this up along with that other comment about the climate, the global warming farce. This is an article where the people that are touting this, that are pushing this climate agenda, there's an article about it, and the best messages to use is the best way to persuade voters about global warming is to lie to them. They're admitting this. They're admitting it. We've got dozens of articles, thousands of scientists who debunk this lie, but they're doing things like they're claiming that it's going to be lower energy costs, lower kitchen sink costs, creation of stable jobs, investments in transit infrastructure and manufacturing, research and development for clean energy, blah, 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 blah. It's all a bunch of lies. And as this article states, the opposite is actually true, that it's very costly, it's very inefficient, as people have learned
costly.
That got into the EV boom, have learned how awful it is to own an EV vehicle. The only way I would own an electric vehicle is if it was a hybrid, so that I could run it on gas when the battery dies.
Yeah.
But and this is what fools the minority who still believe in this.
Yeah.
There's a minority that still believe these lies, and these purposeful lies are what's convincing them to stick with this and to believe it. Yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing. But as we've found out, as we've noticed over the last couple of years, 30%.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mind-blowing that 30%
still
just
hanging on.
remain as deluded as ever in all the different various things.
Yeah, but remember we talked about
delusions.
that. I think it's because of hate that they keep hanging on to this administration and the lies and the woke and all this political mumbo jumbo. It's because of hate towards
a lot of it
other
isn't,
administration.
A lot of it isn't because they've been convinced of anything good. It's just they've been convinced to hate something.
And somebody.
And so they cling to that. Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's being brainwashed.
Yeah. And then I want to show you this article. I don't know if you know who Jordan Peterson is. He's a a very popular philosopher, modern day philosopher that he's got a lot of good ideas about young men specifically, and the problems with young men today. And he's very good for that. I don't promote him necessarily. I don't agree with everything he says, but I wanted to play this little short video for you today where he's talking about the globalist G40 cities agenda, because he's spot on. It's what we've been talking about the last couple of years. So check this out.
You know, I've looked very carefully at the so-called C40 consortium agenda. And this is a consortium of the 40, some of the 40 largest cities on the globe, all allied together at the level of local municipal government, who are literally pursuing an agenda that includes no more than 3 articles of clothing per citizen per year, a 95% in private car ownership, which is why we're all being encouraged to produce the electric cars that we won't have enough electricity to run anyways, because you don't need electricity if you actually don't get to own a car. And if the goal is a 95% reduction in private automobile ownership, then it doesn't matter if there's no damn grid. 1 short haul flight per person every 3 years, which will completely, obviously decimate the entire travel industry, plus all of the tourism industry that Europe depends on absolutely in all possible manners. And then overall, although this isn't directly from the C40, the fundamental goal of something approximating an 85% reduction in Western living standards, which is the calculation of the green virtuous globalist utopians as to what's necessary in order for us to inhabit a green planet. And so all of this means, to me, it means not only are the bureaucrats who are using this get out of jail free card to advance their careers, and the conspiratorialists who are radically left using it explicitly as an agenda, it also means that the bloody radical leftists are 100% willing to sacrifice the working class and the poor to their ambition and their green agenda.
So exactly what we've been talking about the last couple of years. Their goal, and remember that this is the secret society, is all of the elites, the deep state, the globalists, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the secret society, whatever you want to call them, they're all true. There's many, many organizations, many groups of people, all working together, or not necessarily all working at the same time together, but all working for the same goal. Now, remember, we've talked about this a lot too, where people like Elon Musk are coming out as an opposition. It's a controlled op. He is one of them, but so now he's coming out and he wants to be the guy at the top when all of the stuff hits the fan, right? He wants to be the one in charge. So he's lifting himself up as this friend of the world. And, you know, his whole agenda is he has this dream of a sci-fi galactic empire that he wants to begin during his lifetime, going and establishing a colony on Mars and things like that, putting chips in our brains and all of these things. That's part of his agenda. But he's very much one of them. He's just an opposition force to what the globalists that have done all these things in the last 4 years have utterly failed at. It didn't work out like they wanted it to. They completely and utterly failed. They're trying to revamp and trying to come up with new things. And they're bringing more fear factor things to the forefront that we're going to talk about later. But this is exactly what's going on. The thing that people like Jordan Peterson don't understand is that Satan is behind every single bit of this. That Satan is the god of this world. Satan has the world cloaked in his dark deception that is the lying wonders of Satan. that he has the world in a chokehold right now, and it's coming sooner than later. And so I wanted to show that to you. Before we go on, I want to show you a newsletter that I just did today. I created a newsletter and a video that I put out. I haven't uploaded it to Rumble yet, but I will probably tomorrow. But this is the video, and it's, I called it "Why Are You Here Before the Time?" Because I'm hoping that this will kind of tie things together for everyone. I try to find different ways of presenting material to try to help people, to just help it click.
Yeah.
And so this article is to help understand the deception of Satan, but also the misunderstanding of Satan, the lack of understanding of Satan, of God's prophecy. Because we have to remember, why are you here before the time? I had that in this Matthew chapter 8, where Jesus casts legion out, which is many devils, and they said, "What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time?"
Yeah.
You know what this shows us? This shows us that Satan and his minions do not know the time.
Because he had to ask before the time.
Right. Because they were assuming it wasn't going to be then. They didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's what I talk about in this is, the mystery which was kept secret since the world began. And the foolishness of God is wiser than men. The weakness of God is stronger than men. God has chosen the foolish of things of the world to confound the wise, and the weak things of the world to confine the things which are mighty. The base things of the world and things which are despised hath God chosen, yea, and the things which are not to bring to naught things that are. God has done this on purpose. Part of the lying wonders of Satan is his deception concerning prophecy. And it's all part of the delusion the world is under and the confounding of the wise. And Satan didn't know any more than any of us did when the end was coming.
Yeah.
Remember that in Daniel chapter 12. I think I have it quoted here.
But
He
Satan
said,
knows now.
now he does. That's
He
the
only
point.
knows as much as we do.
Now he
Yeah.
knows the same that we do. And that's the point I'm making here is he did not know before. And because God said, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." They were closed up and sealed to everyone, including the angels and the devils. And it's this thing that God did on purpose, and it fooled Satan just as much as it confounded men. And it was done in such a way so that at the time of the end, the pictures that God painted for us would become clear, which they have now.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to point this out because Satan was just as befuddled by it as man was. And Satan tried to do many things. The manifestation of God in the flesh and the identity of Christ is the mystery of God. We've talked about this recently. God confounded the wise. And one thing I noted in this article that I wanted to just as a side note point out what it says in this scripture here, that not many wise men after the flesh, not many noble are called.
Right.
And this is one of the lies in the church. And that's why I linked this document, 24 of Satan's Lies in the Church, because this is one of the lies that's in the church, is that everyone is called. Everyone, can be saved, but that is not what the scriptures say. Many are called, but few are chosen.
It doesn't say
It
every.
doesn't say all.
All.
Now, it does say that God would that all men would come to repentance, but he knows that they won't. And he doesn't even call those that are truly despicably vile, evil people.
Yeah.
He doesn't even call them.
Yeah.
And it says many are not called. And so if we believe the scriptures, we just believe that that is a fact. But that was just a side note of this. But no man knows the day or the hour, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only, Jesus said. God fooled Satan and didn't reveal the time of the end until now at the end. And now that it's the time of the end, we that love Jesus know and understand. And for all those that are new, remember that ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief, Paul says. A lot of people love to quote a couple verses before that where he says, we know that the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night.
Yeah.
People like to quote that and then put a period at the end of it. But this is just a couple verses later. But we, those who love God, are not in darkness. That day will not come as a thief in the night to us. Only to those that are in darkness will it be as a thief in the night. And I've got many articles that I talk about that. And Jesus told us to watch and be prepared. We are supposed to understand the end time and watch it. Watch and be prepared for the day when it comes. And then another evil spirit in Luke chapter 4, what have we to do with thee, thou Jesus of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God.
They knew that Jesus was God. They knew that
just
Jesus
didn't
was
know
holy.
what he was doing there. God
they thought, aren't you here a little too soon?
Yeah, and God had concealed that from them purposefully. It was a secret purposefully that God did.
So what did Jesus say back to him?
In Luke chapter 4, let's go look. I don't recall exactly what he said. So
I laugh
No,
because she's
I don't think he
read
even-
it. I would think she's listened to the
And
Bible
he
longer
didn't-
than you.
he didn't address the actual question. He just hold thy peace and come out of him, is all he said.
He
So he
didn't
just
even
commanded him to
decide to
come
have
out.
that conversation with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
He didn't even dignify it with a response.
Yeah.
Jay
Now-
said some variation of "shut up."
Yeah, hold thy peace. Yeah.
hold thy peace.
And that's what, Jay, thanks
Shut
for
up.
pointing that out, because I was just about to say,
Shut your pie
that,
hole.
remember there was other times when Jesus cast out spirits and he told them to keep silent.
That was a variation of "shut up."
Yeah.
We're not having this discussion.
Don't say, because the devils knew who he was.
Hold your
They knew exactly who he was. Yeah.
That's funny.
And then so here's some things that Satan has tried to do over the years. Since the time of Daniel, Satan has at least a couple of times tried to make the prophecies happen in his time. He tried it with Antiochus Epiphanes, which there's many people believe that was the Antichrist. But if you study it, he matched a bunch of the scriptures fairly closely right up until the time of the Antichrist is predicted in the Bible. And then he did none of the things that the Antichrist would do when he took over the world. So it obviously was not Antiochus Epiphanes, but I believe that Satan tried to make this happen with him. And that's why there's so much that matches the prophecy from Daniel, because Satan tried to make it happen shortly after the time of Daniel. He was anxious and impatient to get it done. He wants to rule the world. He wants to have his moment, his 15 minutes of fame or whatever you call it, But it's actually impossible that it would have been that, man. Satan tries to convince people that General Titus of the Roman Empire was the Antichrist, which he's just sowing confusion, and he's succeeded in deceiving so many people with that lie. Again,
Satan knows. So Satan, you said before, Satan knows prophecy better than we do. He just doesn't know when.
Right. Right. He knows it better than men,
'Cause
but
they
he
choose
doesn't
not to.
know any more than God has allowed him to know, just like he hasn't allowed men to know
But
until
he doesn't.
now.
But he doesn't know more than we all know. He knows more than the neighbor who's not even studying their Bible at all. But he doesn't know
And-
more than we
And
do.
so Satan, being a very powerful fallen angel, very intelligent being, that's been around and has been able to study the prophecies for, we're looking at 2,500 years now since the time of Daniel. I'm going to say he probably understands it better than even I do.
Really?
So, well, how could I say differently? I've only had a couple of decades to study this. He's had millennia
But it was
to
clear.
study it.
But it was shut up and sealed.
Right.
Closed up and sealed.
Right. But he
until
still
the
had all
time.
the same information that I do. So I'm not going to say that that Satan doesn't know more than I do. I'm not going to say that.
We know a lot.
Well, because God has revealed a lot to us. So and given that God is the one that reveals his truth to those that love him, on that standpoint, maybe we do know more than Satan. Don't know. But I would never claim that just because I don't want to underestimate the devil. The devil is very smart. He's the father of lies. He is the great deceiver. I don't want to underestimate him at all.
Wouldn't he know at least as much as we do simply because he knows that God is telling us?
Well, he has had a much longer than we have. He's got a much bigger, broader picture than we do over millennia. Yes.
See, the thing about it is Satan, he doesn't deny who Jesus is.
No.
He knows who Jesus is. The only reason why we don't know anything, I'm not saying we, I'm saying human beings as a whole does not know anything is because we don't want to know. Or people don't want to know. They don't want to study the Bible.
The world does not want to know, right?
The world denies Christ. The devil doesn't deny Christ.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too on that note. Satan, you remember, he created the prophecies of Islam 1,700 years ago. He created, or I'm sorry, 1,400 years ago, from the time of Muhammad.
That's true.
He created the exact duplicate mirrored prophecies of the Bible in Islam. So that was 1,400 years ago. He understood it well enough to create these prophecies in Islam that match the Bible to a T, just the exact opposite, right?
Yeah.
So he's known for a long time.
Jay said, I think he'd know more because he's had much longer time.
Yeah, and that's what I think.
Not limited by a physical brain.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I thought but didn't say when I was saying that is that, we're limited to this physical world and our brain. We don't.
He's a spiritual being.
He is his. If he were to take an IQ test, it would probably be off the charts. We can't even compare ourselves to heavenly beings, right? Which angels are heavenly beings. Even though he's a fallen angel, he's still very powerful, very intelligent.
Well, he can shapeshift.
And and think about the intelligence required to have the absolute control of the world and manipulating all of these people. He's manipulating all of these people into doing exactly what he wants them to, making them think it's their idea and what they want. That's how smart he is.
He said, but I would say that we know what God wants us to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. On the other hand, God has revealed his truth to us that love him. So there's maybe things we know that Satan doesn't on that sand.
When I was watching a video this weekend, some guy said that he was debunking Islam by, what did he say? that Islam came into being like 600 years after the birth of Christ or something.
Yeah, it was 600 AD. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so what Islam is saying happened before that time, they said, which was totally untrue.
Well, it's
Because
Islam didn't exist before Muhammad.
Yeah.
Right.
What
right.
did exist before Muhammad was Hubal worship, which basically came down from Baal worship of the Old Testament, worshiping of the heavenly bodies, and their great god Allah was the moon god.
Mhm.
That's what the pagan Arabs had before Muhammad. Yes, there
Mhm.
was no Islam prior to that. Yeah. So Satan, he tried again with Hitler.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he did.
He tried to make the prophecies come to pass. Remember, he tried to drive Hitler to take over the world, which is what the Antichrist is going to do. Hitler tried to invade Europe, to take over the world. In Europe and the United States helping barely stopped him. And remember, it's always been Antiochus Epiphanes was anti-Semitic.
Mhm.
Hitler was anti-Semitic. It's always been about hating the Jews because Satan is behind all of this. It's always about hating the people that God chose from Abraham and the promises that God made to Abraham.
Mhm.
Now, if you're new, remember that the Jews today that don't believe in Jesus are hewn off the tree of the
Mhm.
believing Jews. It's the Messianic Jews that are the true Israel today, the true people of God. Now, that doesn't mean Israel, the nation state in the world, the land. I'm talking about the people that are Israel. The Jews are still Jews. They're still blood descendants of Abraham, but they're spiritual children of the devil, as Jesus said.
They spit at Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hate Christians. And that's the thing is, today it's becoming hatred of Jews and Christians. And that's what we're going to see in the end time. That's what the Bible tells us that will happen at the time of the end. And so today we see Satan controlling almost the entire world. He's already succeeded. Since October last year, we've learned that about half of the world literally supports a murderous rapist organization. Hamas supports Islam, even though they have no idea what they're supporting, but it's like you were saying, it's about hate. They hate Jews and they hate Christians, and that's all they care about.
Yeah.
So they're going to support the enemy, even though the enemy is a vile organization. They don't care. So I wanted to bring that up. I was inspired this morning to write this article, and so I made a video, and hopefully it does help people to kind of understand what's going on right now, how Satan was actually fooled. Satan did not understand prophecy, but just like we do now, because the words were closed up and sealed until the time of the end, now that it's the time of the end, we all know. Anyone who studies, and the people of God, and certainly Satan, know that it's the time of the end. He knows he's going to succeed this time. So moving on. The world sees the United States as toothless. Just wanted to point that out. I usually don't bring in political articles like this, but it really is. It's coming to the point where, we've talked about China and China's 100-year plan and how they're accelerating that to reduce it by a couple of decades and maybe make it happen now because of the weakened state of the United States because of the Biden administration.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see what comes of all of this, but this is something that's happening right now. The world is laughing at the United States. We are a laughing stock to the world now. And our military isn't nearly as powerful as it was.
They can't get any
not even that long
recruits.
ago.
They can't recruit anyone.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's just, it's a horrible thing to have to talk about, but I have to bring stuff like that up. This, you know, death penalty for child rapists goes into effect in Tennessee. I brought one up. It was last week, I think, where they're actually, I don't remember where it was, but they're putting a law into effect to castrate
sex offenders,
child sex offenders, to castrate them. And I'm all for it. I'm all for that.
They can't do nothing after that.
Yeah. Mark chapter 9, verse 42. And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he were cast into the sea. That's what Jesus said, if you harm a child. And I just can't even fathom what these people do. It is so, this is like, I can't even talk about it. It's so bad. So anyway, yeah, I'm all for all that. Muslims in France are taking to the streets, warning if the right-wing parties win, they will burn down the entire country. This is where France is today. If you've been with us for a while, you've seen article after article after article about the horrific state of France today and how their culture has been destroyed. The Muslims are taking over the country. And many countries in Europe, you know, France, Germany, London. London is now Londonistan. It is a Muslim city. They're overwhelmed by Muslim migrants, and it's a purposeful invasion. We have to remember that these are not people fleeing from oppressive countries. These are military age men going in to invade another country.
Yeah, they are.
That's what it is. That's what they're doing in the United States right now. And it's a purposeful invasion. And it's Satan's way to turn everyone into Muslims, worshiping him so he can take over with his Muslim Antichrist when the time comes.
I think the Quran says something about taking over the world.
Yeah.
Well, the prophecies that Satan laced into Islam say that Islam will rule the world in the end. And it will. Because the Antichrist is going to be a Muslim, and the religion that's going to be forced on the world will be Islam. And Catholicism, as we've seen, will submit to Islam, as it already has. Catholicism has submitted to Islam in this interfaith movement, saying we all worship the same God, even though it's not believed at all by Muslims. Muslims don't believe in interfaithism. You're a Muslim or nothing, or you die, or you can be a slave if you want, but otherwise you're going to die or convert. I've got a little article about that coming up here real quick. But many in France, Germany, and London are succumbing to pressure. They're succumbing to pressure. They're becoming Muslim in order to survive.
Yeah.
Because it's so dangerous to be a non-Muslim, especially places like London now.
Mm-hmm.
People are turning Muslim just to survive, which is exactly what will happen when the mark of the beast comes. And they say, you either do this or die. Everybody's going to do it. Everybody that doesn't have the Spirit of God in them.
Feed my family.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those with the Holy Spirit will be the ones that are able to
see through
resist that.
Yeah.
And deny it. Yeah. And then I put this up here because Revelation chapter 18, come out of her, my people. Pope Francis just excommunicated this archbishop. He was found guilty of schism because he went against what Pope Francis and the Vatican are stating. So he was excommunicated. My message to this man right here is come out of her, my people.
Right.
You know, if he's going to stick around and try to get back in and try to continue being some kind of priest, then come out of her, my people, God said.
Do you think he really loves God? He just needs to get out.
Well, I know that there are some in the Catholic Church that do love God. That's why he says, come out of her, my people. Because if they don't come out of that organization, they are going to be partakers of her sins. And you need to come out if you really love God.
So I really, really honestly believe that there's a lady in my neighborhood.
Yeah, the one down the street there.
Yeah, and she just will not come out of the church.
She seems
she knows
to be
about
very
prophecy.
knowledgeable, seems to love God.
She reads the Bible.
But she's so stuck on Catholicism that it's...
And she doesn't even like the Pope. She doesn't support the Pope, but she cannot give up her church buds.
Right.
The people she hangs out with.
Because she thinks it's okay to disagree with...
Even though their Pope is supposed to be infallible.
Yeah, they don't support him.
They don't support him. So how are they supporting Catholicism if they're supreme leaders?
There's a lot of Catholics in Europe that do not support Pope Francis.
Oh, yeah.
But, and it's going to get even worse when it's either Francis or the next Pope probably will be the false prophet of the Bible and support the Antichrist when he comes on the scene. So wait and see what happens then. Hopefully a lot of them will come out of her. I hope. I pray.
Yeah, me too.
So Biden telling Netanyahu, and this was in a conversation about the Iranian missile attack. Remember, they sent hundreds of missiles and the vast majority of them were taken down. And he said, if they retaliate in any way, you're on your own, he says. And I didn't bring this into my article here or my document here, but there was a thing where Biden made a gaffe and he actually said that he's busy ruling the world.
He also
he's
said
busy
he was
ruling the world. Is what he said.
What about he actually said that he was
the first black woman to serve under a black president. I know.
What?
Yeah, and that was
what was that?
He said he was the first black woman to serve under a black president.
I did.
I know.
The first black
just kind of silly. But this other thing where he said he's busy ruling the world. He thinks he rules the world.
Okay, yeah.
He is that far, I know. It's really funny. But then remember I talked about how the Muslims don't believe in coexistence. They don't believe in interfaithism. Well, here is a terror attack in Galilee, which is from in the northern part of Israel. It was a terror attack by Hezbollah. A bunch of people died, and the town of Galilee is suddenly feeling like this coexistence thing isn't so great.
Is that a video or is it just a still picture that you found?
This was an article, a still shot here. Yeah.
Oh, Galilee.
Yeah, but Muslims do not believe in coexistence.
No.
The only way you can coexist alongside a Muslim is to pay them the jizya. Pay them so that you can live beside them and they can treat you like a slave while you do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or they may just decide to kill you. Yeah. Yeah, it's that's what they're taught. in their doctrine. Canada, a mob of, I did put this in here. I thought that I didn't put this in here, but a mob of Muslim men beats, there was another one where there was 4 lesbian women that were set on fire, a different article. This one is they beat a lesbian couple in Canada. This is Canada. This is a Western nation, a mob of Muslim men beating. We were talking about whether or not Muslims say whether or not they dislike LGBT. They definitely dislike it.
Yeah, they act like, well, they're in society, but they're not a part of society. We just shown them. No, you don't.
No,
they kill them. They
throw them off rooftops. They burn them. They beat them up. Yeah, they kill them. Yeah.
No,
and in the meanwhile, LGBT people are parading this coexistence thing and how we should all just love the Muslims.
Queers.
They're so
for jihad.
Deluded.
What?
They have no idea what they're saying. And then this, I saw a couple of different articles about this, and I would not recommend watching the video. It's kind of disturbing. They're beating Gazans for taking food from the aid storehouses. They want to starve them to death.
Yeah,
so they can blame Israel for it.
And they don't care about them.
There's warehouses full of food that they won't let them have, and they're beating them for going and taking food.
Yeah, they don't.
They're committing genocide.
They're not humane people.
No, they're committing genocide on their own people so that they can say Israel's committing genocide, which is not even happening.
Is there an anti-war thing that says you're not allowed to do that?
What?
To your own people? Isn't there some war rule?
Well, the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court is too busy trying to blame Israel for everything than to actually look at what's happening here and charging these people with war crimes. Yeah, that would be the logical thing that should happen. But the ICC is too busy trying to blame Israel for everything because they're full of a bunch of anti-Semitics. Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. Hamas supporters in the U.S. chanting death to America, burning American flags on July 4th.
Oh, yeah. There was a big to-do on July 4th. They said they were going to do it.
Why is this not treason? Why is this okay? Death to America?
Go to another country then if you don't like America.
Yeah, why don't you move to Gaza? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, this was a while ago, but I wanted to remind people of this. I think this was probably a Freudian slip by Kamala Harris. Listen to this.
Really?
Because think also about the impact on not only the local economy, not only on an investment in the entrepreneurs and innovators from and in the community, think about the impact on something like public health. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
So did you catch that?
Depopulation.
Yeah.
When we invest in reducing the population.
Oh,
then
so that our
children
can have clean air and clean water.
Yeah.
There won't be so many people.
So let's kill off 90% of the people so that
your child can breathe fresh air.
Yeah, that's why I say I think that was a Freudian slip. I don't think she meant to say that. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't think they even care about trying to hide anything. They
that's
just
true.
say it.
They don't even care anymore.
They just say it.
Yeah. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was a thing that I've been seeing, the Darien Gap, massive Chinese illegals coming through into the U.S., massive amounts, of Chinese nationals coming in to the U.S. What do you think? I mean, certainly there are Chinese that want to escape the oppressive communist government there. But these people are not escaping China. They're coming here under China's direction. They're infiltrating our country.
So wait a second, I have a question. How are you going to depopulate the U.S. if there's a bunch of illegals coming over the border?
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to destroy the richness of our country by bringing in all of these illegals. The Chinese are coming in to create disruptions to our infrastructure, to bring us down from the inside. The Satan's plan and the globalists' plan is to reduce the United States' wealth so that they can then force us all to comply, which I'm going to show you a Klaus Schwab quote here in a minute, where they want to force us all to comply with their leadership. Yeah. And that's what they're hoping to bring this nation down and turn it into a third world country, and then they can easily run it.
And then how do they depopulate?
Same way they've been planning it all along, by reducing our
Pestilences.
food supplies, pestilences, and everything else.
So they want
starving us, making us sick, killing us all off, using cures for diseases and to try to kill as many of us as they can. Yeah. Anyway, Florida Imam says that Jews are like Satan. They conceal the truth and they conceal knowledge. This is exactly what Islam does. Again, like last live, everything they say is what they are doing. They're accusing Israel of doing what they're doing.
That's what liars do.
Every single time they open their mouths, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to put this, God bless this martyr. A Muslim, a Christian in Uganda, an evangelist, was converting Muslims to Christianity, so he was murdered by the Muslims. God bless him.
Well, he's waiting for us to get there.
Yeah. Rick Grenell, he was the acting director of national intelligence under Trump, says that DC looks like the Hunger Games movie today. Most people have seen that, where it's a dystopian society with the elites running all of the slaves and creating, just using them to support their grandiose lifestyles, which is exactly what they want to do. Remember, Jordan Peterson was talking about this utopia that they're planning on creating, where it's going to be the elites and then the regular people that do all the farming and manufacturing and create everything.
Communism.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But much further than that. Yeah,
They get along with North Korea pretty good then.
Yeah.
And Putin.
But that's what they're trying to do, is turn this country communist.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
3 outfits per person. I would not be okay with that.
Per year, yeah.
Per year?
Yeah. And then this is what I was talking about with Klaus Schwab. Humanity must be forced into collaboration with the globalist elites. And it's order to bring along this transition of humankind into a new era. Remember, I've been talking about, this is what Lucifer has been promising his faithful. They're going to have this new utopia, a new era of mankind to transcend to the next level. And this is what they're all plotting and planning to do. They think that they're going to be the kings.
Elon Musk talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
So
Elon Musk,
Alex Jones.
Elon Musk is one of them.
Yeah.
He just wants a little different route to being king of the world than they do.
The Luciferians are spatting right now. That's
Yeah.
what's going on.
They're fighting, they're infighting amongst each other to try to take the top spot, is what they're doing. Yeah. Germany, 7 Muslim migrants sexually assault a young woman. This is happening like daily, people. I just wanted to throw a reminder up there. This is what we can expect in the US if it continues like it has in Europe. France, a Muslim 10-year-old vows on the Quran of Mecca to behead his teacher.
Jeez.
And then the MP defends the 10-year-old. Yeah.
Ugh.
So, like I said, there's a couple more articles we're going to look at the end of the live, but we're going to drop YouTube first. Before we do that, I'm going to jump to chapter 18 of my book / website. Because if you're new, my book is really just my notes, which my website is just my notes. My entire book is online for free. I don't even make any money if you buy the printed copy from Amazon. It's just what they charge to print it. And so I don't make money on my book. I don't do anything except try to promote the truth of God, to dispel the lies of Satan. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do, because I love you.
Yeah.
I don't even know you, but I love you because I hate the lies of Satan and how he's got the world deceived. And I think the more people that can be with God in the end, the better. And that's what God wants us to do.
Yeah.
To assist in the kingdom of God and increasing the kingdom of God, helping more people to learn the truth, to turn away from the lies. So that's what we're doing here. So we've gone through all of the biblical prophecy chapters. We are now approaching the end of the biblical truth chapters of my book website. The wonder of it all. This is actually the very first article I ever wrote. When I became a Christian and I read the Bible for myself and learned what God was really up to in his plan, what he's really doing is not at all what Satan wants us to think. It's this grand epic plan of God.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful and going, and it's such a wonderful ending for those that love God, that I wrote my first article about it. And that's what started me on this journey of writing. I started just compiling my notes into articles that other people could read and understand. And so this was the very first one. I already made a video on this a little while ago. If you're interested, it's chapter 18 on BibleProphecyandTruth.com. There's a video link or a video embedded from Rumble right at the top. But I just want to talk about it today. You know, Satan wants us to think that heaven is going to be a big, boring church service in the sky forever.
I heard that.
That is the furthest thing from the truth.
A big church
There won't
service.
be any need for church.
I know. Yay.
Not going to be any need for
There's
the
not going to
Bible
be a church. Yeah. Church is a tool of Satan. Church is a big money-making business in the Western world today.
So if it's this kind of church, yay. You know?
Yeah.
Good.
Jesus
Yeah.
will be your co-hosting.
But it is
You
not.
can't believe that because I said it first.
So, and then this actually comes from personal experience. Now, granted, this was 40 years ago. I heard a girl in my house at the time. It was a big party house back then. I had like 4 roommates and all we did was party. But I heard a girl in my house one day saying how she just couldn't wait to go to hell because all her friends were going to be there and it was going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big party.
And I wasn't a Christian at the time, but even not being a Christian, I was like, wait, what? You want to do what? Hell?
Yeah.
You know, and,
Wow.
but hell isn't going to be a party. In fact, hell is going to be an existence of separation. You're not going to see anybody, talk to anybody, be able to communicate with anybody, do anything in hell in this period
It's
of
gonna be
time.
torment.
And heaven is not going to be, remember what Jesus promised us in Revelation 20, 21, 22? You know, it's going to be a place where there's no pain, no sorrow, no crying. Now, if it was a big, long church service in the sky, I'd be crying. So I know it's
Yeah.
not going to be that.
Me too.
I would be very sorrowful
I'd be
if that's
going
all
up
it
to
was.
the altar.
Well, you remember what God promised. God promises a new heaven and a new earth.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the evil is going to be gone. There's not going to be any more mosquito bites or
Oh,
animals looking to bite you or bee stings or any of those unpleasant things. It's going to be a perfect. Now, this is the utopia that is actually going to happen. This is the one God's going to create. And what I talk about in this article is just look at the world today. Look at what we can see now, even in this fallen world, even in this world full that as God says in Hosea chapter 4, everything is dying and wasting away
yeah.
because of sin. The whole world is in mourning, and the animals are dying, the fish and the birds, everything is dying and wasting away. Even in the state that it's in, there is so much beauty
Yeah.
in
we
the
can
world.
still
And then
love.
if you've never looked at this, I got to point this out because this just fascinates me. And I know some people aren't into this, but see this tiny little square here. This is actual two. This is to scale of the moon. If you're looking up at the moon in the sky, this is to scale this Hubble Deep Field image, which is this. And those are all galaxies. Those are galaxies that they can see in this tiny little spot in space. Galaxies. This is the amazing breadth of God's creation.
Yeah.
The unimaginable, grandiose creation of God. And this, a new heaven and a new earth. The heavens are that. When the Bible says the heavens, it's everything from the surface of the earth outward. The entire universe is the heavens. God is going to recreate the heavens and the earth. And that's going to be our playground forever.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be no church service in the sky. We're going to be praising God and singing praises to him, definitely. And we're going to be playing in that. Yeah. Wow. That is amazing.
I'll never see you because I'm going to be on the beach.
You'll be on the beach. I'll come visit you
I'm
from
going to
time
be
to
running.
time.
You will swoop down. What is that? Who is that?
They gotta go.
I'm going to be running.
But I
in
mean,
space.
just think about all the beautiful things that we can see in the world today.
Yeah.
You know, the sea and the creatures in the sea, the surface of the earth, and all the beautiful things that we goggle at the beauty of, you know. It's just the amazing, marvelous creation of God. As the evidence of the majesty of God is the beauty and scope of his amazing, marvelous, and incomprehensibly awesome creation.
I have this to read because Jay said there will be no more seas, so no beach.
Well, no. So the
I'm like,
sea,
"Whoa."
the sea in creation, remember, the waters are the sea of creation. The sea that the beasts arose out of in Daniel, remember, is the sea of creations, the sea of time passing in the creation of God. Because you remember in the interpretation of that vision in Daniel 7, it's that there are 4 kings which shall arise on the earth. It says it's the sea of creation that produces these kings that arise on the earth. So there will be no more sea means that there's not going to be any more sea of creation of these things happening like they are now, and these nations arising and things like that. So that's the sea. There is not a ocean. So I hope you understood that.
So there will be a beach, Jay.
So
And because
it doesn't
of
mean
that,
there won't be any beaches.
so
yeah.
I forgive you, and I will let you come on my beach if you want. My section of the beach.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just so much beauty to be seen even in this fallen, corrupt world. You know,
Yeah.
today is full of deserts. Everything's dying. Even here in the tropics in Florida,
Yes.
all the trees are dying.
It's dry.
This is the tropics.
Yeah.
Everything's dying.
It's really changed.
And that's
in
what
30
God
years.
said.
Mhm.
Everything is dying and wasting away because of mankind's love for adultery and murder and all the sins of mankind.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
So, heaven is going to be something awesome that we can't even imagine. In fact, it even says, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. We can't even imagine what God has in store for us.
Because we fought the good fight.
It's going to be so amazing. Yeah, and we're fighting the good fight right now. Yeah.
But right now, we can still love. We still love.
Yeah.
The
We're
world
made in the
is
image of
so bad, and there's so much crime and hate and chaos, but we can still love. Like, we still have the ability to love. That's what I'm saying. Like, in hell, you don't have the ability to love.
Well, in hell, you're going to be utterly alone.
Yeah. So on earth, whatever your situation is going to be way better than hell.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be going there having a good time with all your friends.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And that's just that's just utterly flabbergasting how Satan actually has people convinced that hell is going to be better than heaven somehow.
Because they can party.
You know?
Mm-mm.
And then, there's some other things they wrote in here. They're just kind of my thoughts, a lot of it. Here's where in Revelation 7, he says the same thing as Revelation 21. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst anymore, neither shall the sunlight on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. And there's going to be, I'm just going to go read it because these are the promises of God.
Mm-hmm. This is just a fleeting moment of what's going
I
on.
know.
Yeah.
Just think about how
Holy
fast
Trinity.
our week goes.
And I brought this up in the past, but I got to bring it up again. I am so glad the tribulation isn't 7 years. I can do 3.5 probably standing on my head.
No.
7 years?
It's going to
Oh.
be the time of
Worse.
trouble such as never has been nor ever again shall be. It's
I
going to
know.
be
You
a
will be affected,
terrible time.
sissy. Yeah. You will.
But at
Be
least it's
affected,
only
but
3.5 years.
Maybe standing on your head if we're hanging out.
So
What?
here's
Maybe
where
standing
God,
on your head if we're hanging out.
yeah. We're all going to be working together, serving
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. Now remember, there's a new heaven and a new earth.
Mhm.
He's going to recreate all of heaven and earth. And there's a voice saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. Because remember, God became a man in Jesus Christ. He's going to literally dwell with us in
No,
person.
he's going to live with us there.
Forever and be our God. And he's going to wipe away all tears from their eyes. And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Behold, I make all things new. Praise the name of the Lord. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
There won't be any
Me
more
too.
sin.
Oh,
We won't
all
have to
this will
be
done.
exposed to sin anymore.
I know. That's
Yeah,
it.
No
No
more
more
sin.
sin. No more death. No more pain. No more sorrow.
You don't have to worry about retirement.
No. And the thing is,
And
we
no
can't
more
even
Social Security.
we can't even imagine a life without pain and sorrow.
Oh, I know.
But that's what we're going to have.
I can't
And people
even
say,
think-
well, if I still have my memories, I'm still going to be sorrowful. Well, remember what it says here. God is going to wipe away the tears from your eyes. God is going to give you that peace and that joy.
Yeah.
He's going to help you.
Yeah.
When you get to heaven, you're not going to want to think about sorrowful things. You're going to be so happy
Right.
Yeah.
that you're not going to think
It's going to
about
be an entirely new existence.
right.
Yes. Yeah. So, God did all this. And this is the thing that we have to remember. Why did God create everything in the first place? Remember, it was because he had the image of a man in mind. It was the image of God, the human being, Jesus Christ, that God planned on becoming. That was his blueprint for creating all things. That's why it says all things were made by him and for him, because he was planning to become a man and create a people to live with forever. And that's the entire plan of God. That's what we're in the midst of right now, nearing the end of. God, his plan was to do this, to create everything the way he did, to filter out all those that would not love him and would not be good. People are bad actors. Well, we don't want any bad actors in heaven.
Right.
And God has created an existence, this matrix-like environment that we live in, to filter that out, to filter out all those that would be bad actors. And they're not coming with us.
No.
And I'm happy about that.
Yep.
So call me selfish, but if you want to, but I'm really happy there aren't going to be any bad actors there.
Yeah. If they don't want to be there, I mean, why? I can't force them to be there.
That's God's plan. And that the end of that plan is the beginning of eternity with God, with those that love him, because he wants to lavish us with gifts forever. He wants to lavish us with gifts forever. That's what God wants to do. He wants to be our God. He wants to dwell among us. He wants to spend eternity with us in bliss. What's not to love about that? Seriously. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which when a man found it, he hid it and went and for joy thereof, he went and sold all he had and bought the field. Because that is very valuable. The kingdom of heaven is the most valuable thing. It's more valuable than anything you have.
Yeah.
The kingdom of heaven is like a merchant man seeking goodly pearls. When he found one pearl of great price, he went and sold everything he had and bought that pearl. Because nothing that we can gain in this life is worth more than heaven, than getting to be with God in heaven. There's nothing worth sacrificing that Nothing you can gain in this world even has any
Family.
way to compare to that.
Not family.
So yeah, that's the first article I ever wrote. And I don't know if I've even changed it at all since I wrote it, except to add these
Isn't there
pictures.
something that you can read off of there?
Huh?
You know, like reading it. Like if you scroll up, isn't that something you can read? Yeah.
Huh.
One of the, where you said, "Do you really think that God has created human form in such a way like that?" Like,
Well, that was my thought when I wrote this article. It's like, when you go outside and look at the wonders of the world, the beaches in the tropics, the canyons of majesty, the mountains that reach up to the sky, the forests, the waterfalls, the tropical fish, the breathtaking beauty of a landscape seen from a high vantage point. Like this, this is just an artist's drawing, but this is what I'm talking about. Just, the breathtaking beauty of something like that, it's just, this is God's creation, and it's so beautiful. And then, I don't like to read this online because it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost, it's kind of an adult thing, I guess. Do you really think that God created the human form in such a way that a kiss is so delicious, would give us a place called heaven, and it would be less wonderful than what we already experience here in this life?
Yeah.
Do we really think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be awesome. So awesome we can't even imagine.
Well, you have it on your website.
I know.
You can.
It's not made for children.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I left it there because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good example of, God did make, he made us husband and wife, and it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It's not for children, it's for adults. So, and like I said, I already have a video that I made on that. So, and I did create the video for chapter 17. Haven't uploaded that. I put it on the videos.prophecyandtruth.com, but I haven't uploaded it to Rumble or YouTube yet. So now we're going to talk about that final. Oh, I wanted to show this to everyone. This was, what is that? This is the picture that Sachiko drew for me for this live stream. And it's just, I just think it's so awesome. It's a really cool picture.
Yeah.
And it's like, and we are like little children to God, and him just, and it, what it just hit me just now looking at this is, I've told you about this before, and I've told some people about this, is when it was shortly after I became a Christian, probably in the first year or two, and I was at home alone in my living room, and I had been studying the Word and reading the Bible and praying, and I kind of fell into I was sitting on my couch, and I kind of fell into maybe I fell asleep. I don't know. It was almost like a waking dream that I had. It was almost like a vision that I had where I was, and I can't even explain it except something. This is actually kind of really cool picture, because this actually kind of illustrates the vision that God showed me as I was there with God, and he was creating, and it was just so awesome. And I kept looking, I wanted to touch it, but I withheld, and he's like, no, go ahead. And so I started influencing it, and it was just the most incredible vision. I can't even explain it beyond that, but this kind of illustrates that in a way. That's just amazing that Sachiko drew this, and it actually kind of illustrates the vision that God showed me so many years ago. And And he said, "This is what I have." I still just cry when I think of, he told, "This is what I have prepared for you," and I was just like, "Oh my gosh," I can't even. It's so overwhelming. But yeah, that was something really awesome that God showed me, and I'm so grateful to Him. I can never repay Him for His love, His forgiveness, His grace, His mercy. God's just so wonderful. And I can't wait to spend eternity with Him.
Oh, to just get there and hug him.
I know.
Wow.
So,
See his face.
Yes, I know.
yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to drop off of YouTube now. We're going to remain on Rumble. We're going to remain on videos.prophecyandtruth.com. We're going to remain on Facebook if you're watching on any of those channels. But if you're on YouTube, go to videos.prophecyandtruth.com and go to the live stream there, or go to rumble.com/Bible prophecy to pick up the end of the live stream, because here in just a few seconds, we're going to drop off of YouTube. And I'm going to, if I can get, I don't know why I can't get this to come up. Yeah, so go ahead and drop off of YouTube. I don't know why I couldn't get that to come up.
Remove.
Yeah, so we are leaving YouTube right now.
Yes.
Go ahead and remove.